Is it a pain in the ass to back cost? It can be tricky. It can be laborious. It can be boring. But do we want to build a kick-ass business, a high-performance building company? Yes or no? Of course we do. Right. Well, then you got to pay the price, because if the majority of guys go out of business in the first 5 years, that's probably one of the activities that they weren't doing, and they weren't aware that they lacked profit in their pricing model. You hear me? So guys, pay the price. You either pay now or you pay later. How old are you going to be before you start to experience life like you want it? I want to tell you right now, whether you like it or not, there is a better way to do business. Hi everyone, welcome to the Business for Builders podcast. My name's Max, and just realised I've got to go to a meeting, so I'm going to smash this one out really quick. If you're brand new, I appreciate you checking us out. If you are a long-term listener, I appreciate you being around and continuing to lend me your ear. I trust you are getting some value. That is the objective. Right, if you're interested in customized coaching for contractors, get across to elitebusinessadvisory.com. Check us out. That's all I do. There's a couple of spots left. Be sure you don't miss out. Let's make 2024 the best year yet. What you don't know, you don't know. So be ready to invest in yourself. The more you learn, the more you earn. Like and subscribe, ding, flick the bell. One of these drops every week. If you've got any questions or comments, leave them below. And if you're on your podcast platform, be sure to, if you're feeling generous, leave us a bit of a review and give us a 5-star. How about that? And look, guys, share it with a GC or someone that you know. If you think you're getting some value out of this and it's kind of helping, then there's a 50% failure rate in the building community. General contractors, builders going broke in the first 5 years. This is all about helping reduce that failure rate. So if you know somebody, share it with them. And good karma will come back to you, no doubt about it. Business for Builders VIP, get across there, good community. On the last episode, I was banging on about, the B4B community and, the collaboration, camaraderie that goes on in there. That is an environment for you guys and gals to talk to each other, okay? Leave your ego at the door. I want you, if you're confident about a question that was asked by a fellow community member, and you make sure you've got humility as well as confidence, and share your experience. We're all here to help each other. I'd encourage you to do that. That's not another platform for me to go spruiking on about what I do. I do enough of that here. But if there's a question that's asked, I would, for the benefit of the group, I will throw down a video and, put something out there for the group to benefit from. Okay, don't forget to check us out on TikTok as well. And, that's a funny place for us. And if that's how you communicate, shoot me a DM if you've got a question about any content or anything that's going on. Right. Again, steak and potatoes. Like I just said, I've got to go to a meeting. So we're going to get this one kicked down the road. This is a pretty basic subject matter, but we just had 3 episodes about key metrics, KPIs pretty much. And this one is, when we're talking about fixed expenses, which was mentioned in one of the last 3 episodes, what's my fixed expense? How much is that? We have this. I won't say call it a contradiction, but it's a point where there's a bit of a clash, because carpenters that work for you on payroll, I'm not talking about subcontract carpenters that work for you directly on payroll with all of the benefits, et cetera, they essentially would normally get, the expense for them would be applied in or added to operational expenses or fixed expenses, right? However, they do the work on site. And so which means they are then a cost of goods sold. Now, the confusion happens between the builder that says, well, they're my carpenters and they do shit on site. Okay, they build stuff. But then the accountant says, well, hang on, they're on payroll, so they should go on operational expenses. They're your fixed expense. So here's where I'm going to try and just separate, as best I can. And I tell you what, if you want this doc, shoot me an email, max@elitebusinessadvisory.com. It's an elite business document, and I'm happy to forward it back to you. And it'll help you understand payroll carpenters. Are they COGS or cost of goods sold, or are they operational expense? Okay. So we're going to quickly try and just demystify this, just so you understand maybe where it is. Now, I've got 4 pages of notes here, which I'm not going to go through. I'm just going to transpose, because I've got to get to this meeting. So you can treat the labor content as a cost of goods sold, sure, but really they are payroll. So if you want my opinion, and it could be worth what you paid for it, okay, is that if the way I view it is that if they're on payroll, they're an operational expense, which means they add to your fixed expense, which then they increase the amount that you've got to bill to break even, which means that adds to the amount that you've got to bill on a monthly basis to hit your preferred billables target. I get that. Now, however, if you are working on a 30% profit margin, the fact that what's going to happen is, because they are applied to an operational expense or a fixed expense inside of your QuickBooks, Sage, Xero accounting software, what will happen is it will improve the gross profit margin in that project or your projects as you do your assessment in the way of back costing, right? So I think for me as a building operator, I've got to go, right, this is my fixed expense, like it or lump it. Because guys say to me, oh, but Max, they're carpenters on the tools. Okay, what if you run out of work for a month, hotshot? Now what? You've got to know what your fixed expenses are. Okay, don't get lazy and put them over in cost of goods sold and attribute that to a project, because if the work slows down, you are going to have to continue to pay them, because they're a fixed expense. Now, that's how I would run it. If my accountant said, Max, how would you like to apply this? I'd go apply it to I just want to know what my obligations are, what my fixed expenses are per month. Tell me, go, right? Now, when I then go across, this is the other phase of play, okay? If I am doing back costing, where I'm comparing my actual spend to my budget estimate, where I calculated the cost of the job in advance, I would then want to track my guys for how long they've been on that job. What was the hours invested? How much did they cost me on any individual project? Because I need to add those against the labor that I've allowed. Now, if I've had subcontractors doing it, then I would just put their invoice in there in that line item for that scope of work. But in the event I've got my own guys, I need to say, right, that guy spent 40 hours on that frame, or whatever the case may be, and that goes in that line item for that guy, and his rate's this, and this is what his labor burden is, all that sort of stuff. I need that data in for my back costing. So for accounting and business development purposes, I want to put my payroll carpenters or any other trades that are on your payroll, I want to put them in my operational expenses, which does push up my fixed expense. Because like I said, if you've got $10,000 worth of fixed expenses and you're running a 30% profit margin, you're going to have to bill $33,333.33 to break even. Forget about making any profit. There's no gross profit there, okay? And so this is why, people might go, oh no, push them across to the, because it makes my fixed expenses look good. Well, subs, you can just fire them and they're gone. There's no obligation on you going forward. But for your guys and gals on payroll, you have got absolute obligation, or you fire them and you give them severance or whatever you do. But so guys, it's really two things. I think operational expenses is where your employees have to go for sure. But then you need to track the data. So when you go back costing, and if you're not back costing, you're not understanding where the gaps are. You don't know how well you are as an estimator. Okay, you don't know where you're underbidding. You don't know where you're overbidding. You are not measuring. What we don't measure, we can't improve. What we don't measure, we can't manage. Okay, so is it a pain in the ass to back cost? It can be tricky, it can be laborious, it can be boring. But do we want to build a kick-ass business, a high-performance building company? Yes or no? Of course we do. Right, well then you got to pay the price, because if the majority of guys go out of business in the first 5 years, that's probably one of the activities that they weren't doing, and they weren't aware that they lacked profit in their pricing model. You hear me? So guys, pay the price. You either pay now or you pay later, okay? It's same with health and fitness. If you don't want to pay now and you want to eat bad, not exercise, fine. But you'll pay later. You'll be obese, overweight, not fit. God knows what's going to happen to you in 10, 15, 20 years, whatever. So, pay the price up front. So it's like have an open mind to, I want to make my business better, but I don't want to do back costing. Are you listening to yourself? It's super tough. I get it. Now, what can help you do it is certain softwares, job management, estimating software can do a lot of the work as far as the comparisons and things like that. Build Exact are good for guys who want business that are, maybe their business tops out at $1.5 million. right? But it is a very manual process. You do have to generate purchase orders and then allocate that purchase orders to a line item in the estimate. That's how you do that comparison. It's work. There's no question. And so, guys, look, there's a part of me recently where I would sell franchises to one individual, but there's so much work on one person that I'm almost, unless you're a husband and wife and you're both gangsters and she's great on dealing with clients and office admin and even ahead in the books, that's such a massive asset as an office operations manager. And then on the other side, you've got you as the construction operative. That's almost a perfect match. If you haven't got the missus, then you need to maybe consider talking to a good mate or a good buddy and joining forces, because I'm telling you, there's an exponential benefit to having one guy in the key metrics like we've just talked about on the 3 previous episodes from today, understanding how to administer the accounting side of the business and liaise with bookkeepers and accountants, run the contract administration side, and then have one guy out there doing construction and project management and dealing with suppliers and subs and quality assurance, etc. Honestly, I just don't think there's a better way to run. Now, can it be done? Of course it can. But it takes a very unique type of person. So if you don't have a massive appetite for risk, you need to find someone that can complement you as well. That's a little bit off the track, but, guys and gals, that's my stand on, cost of goods sold or operational expenses or fixed expenses for your payroll carpenters. I hope that helps. Like and subscribe, hit the bell. One of these drops every week. Get across to elitebusinessadvisory.com. Check out my customized coaching for contractors. Get across to the Silver Bullet Academy. That's a good way that you might be able to sort of start to get some education, a pretty low expense there, probably $65 American per month. And that's where you can really start to understand the depth of the learning that's got to take place for you to be successful. And also, if you want to book a consultation and have a no obligation chat with me for 30 minutes about you and your business, maybe I can give you some steak and potatoes from a customized standpoint. Love to do that. I look forward to catching up with you on the episode that comes up next. Be sure to stay in contact and hit me up with any questions you've got, whether you're on TikTok, hit me with a DM, or on the website or on email. Go build a kick-ass business. See you on the next episode. Cheers.